Well, yes, indeed, you found your way back to another 5 minutes at the Frat House, the most consistent internet-based sports talk, sports rap program with Frat House Mike and Sidekick. And as always, we have a packed program here for you today. But before we get to that packed agenda, Sidekick, I just got to ask you.
Here we go.
I just got to ask you.
Hold
on. Did you check out any of the first round of today's Masters tournament from Augusta National?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. It's not your thing?
No. I was, unfortunately at work, so didn't get to...
Yeah, but you can catch up on the updates, as they're going on. I mean, Not your thing.
Not my bailiwick.
Well, I gotta say, listen, I'm not a big golfing fan. I don't watch a lot of it. I mean, I track it. There's something special about the Masters. I don't know. There's an elegancy to it. It's one of the first majors. In fact, it is the first major of the tour. And
What is that? It's a major award.
I enjoy it. It's very, very attractive. And it's I don't know, the whole mystique of the green jacket and all that's kind of neat. So I thought real quick, since we do have the first round, at least at this particular taping right now, most of the first round was completed. Leaders, Mark Leishman and Sergio Garcia are 6 under.
Who?
Yes. Tiger Woods, 2 under. All right, for those that are interested. Phil Mickelson, 1 under. Rory McIlroy right now, even. And we will go into round 2 tomorrow, round 3, and then the finals on Sunday.
Joy.
You coming up to the Frat House to check that out? Huh?
Yeah, no.
Yeah? No? No? All right, let's get...
I think I'll be giving that one a pass. Might be taking
listen, we cover everything right... Well, at least I do. I cover everything right here. I don't know about this guy. I cover everything right here.
I cover almost anything.
Almost. We'll find out. Yeah.
I cover the couple of things that you don't cover.
That's true. That's true.
Shut up and start talking.
All right, let's get over to our regular sports chatter. But before we do that and we get into our motorsports update, let's finish off our NCAA tournament coverage because we've got ourselves a new champion. Monday night, the number 1 seed Louisville Cardinals took on the number 4 seed Michigan Wolverines. Both advanced after winning their respective Final 4 games on Saturday evening. Louisville, though, darn near upset by the Wichita State Shockers, running behind them on Saturday night by as many as 12. And it really wasn't until late in the second half that Louisville went ahead to stay and beat the Shockers, but by just 4 points, 72-68. Now, on the other side, the Wolverines beat another number 4 in the Syracuse Orange by 5. 61-56. Now, going into that championship game on Monday, though, I frankly felt that if Louisville, in fact, did come out and play as they did against Wichita on Saturday against Michigan, that there was a shot that Michigan probably could take them down and win that one. And in fact, for quite a while, it was actually looking that way. In fact, at the half, Michigan went in to the locker room at the half up by 1.38-37. Ultimately, in the end, though, the difference came down to Louisville's 50% three-point shooting and their 78% free throws. Louisville won by 6 points, 82-76. Interestingly enough, Louisville coach Rick Pitino, he became the first NCAA coach to win a national title at 2 different schools. And kind of ironically enough, it was announced earlier on Monday that Pitino would be inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. And at that point, then the conversations just coming, hours later when he won the national championship, 2 from 2 different schools, conversations becoming, well, is Rick Pitino perhaps maybe one of the greatest college basketball coaches ever? We'll save that conversation. We'll save that conversation.
Hey,
we'll save that conversation.
There's that sound bit we haven't heard in a while.
We'll save that conversation for another show. Yes, I am a big Rick Pitino fan, and
Are you?
Yes, I am. I say congratulations to him and to the Louisville Cardinals. And by the way, interestingly enough, the women's Cardinals as well, who lost to UConn I believe it was very next night in the women's Division I championship game. They made it all the way to the championship game in the women's NCAA tournament against UConn. Unfortunately, they weren't as successful as the men, but nonetheless, congratulations to Louisville. Tremendous basketball season. Alrighty. There's our wrap-up on the NCAA tournament. One more little thing, though. We'd be remiss. Let's get to our Facebook, Frat House Facebook, post of the week. It was the most viewed post, and it is related still yet to the tourney. And that was the final standings in our Frat House Sports Bracket Challenge, which was ultimately won by our good Facebook fan and friend Mark. Came in at the top there. Joe came in second, and son of a gun, there's Laura. Always seems to be hanging around near the top of all of our fantasy stuff. There she is at the coming in third. So congrats to all of them. Nice job.
Kind of like the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Nice job on all of that. Oh boy. Another reason. Listen.
I goofed.
Another. I don't know. Another reason you need to get over and like our Facebook page is all of the different, challenges and games and fantasy stuff that we get involved in. And if you're over there and are a member of our Facebook page, well, then, my gosh, you get the exclusive invites to those automatically. So make sure you get over to Frat House Sports and give our Facebook page a like.
Real quick, though, before we move on, we got to point out
Go ahead.
that we tied.
Yes, okay.
I actually was not the last person for the first time in 3 seasons.
Very good. Very good. You're very...
I actually tied the bracketologist.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I need a drink.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have as... you always go into these things that you think you're going to do better. You go in feeling really confident. I've got the right...
Well, it was like last year. I found myself, and again, it happened this year. I find myself, I'm like, ooh, one day after one of the rounds, I'm number one. This is going to be my year.
You get this
and then
false
you get
sense of
crushed.
confidence. Yeah, you get this false sense of confidence that, watch,
Get some facts in the back.
nobody's going to beat me. Watch this.
I got it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of, that's the beauty of the bracket and how fast it moves.
Yep.
All right. Let's go over and take a look at some motorsports, huh? And let's start it off with a little NHRA drag racing because, well, gosh knows, we haven't seen much of that in, I think, about 3 weeks. And this past weekend, we headed out to the strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway to the SummitRacing.com Nationals. That was highlighted in the finals. And yes, I did hang for it late Sunday night. Highlighted by the funny car final between Cruz Pedregon and Courtney Force, which unfortunately, for a number of reasons, saw Pedregon get to the line first and secure his 31st funny car win after Courtney went up in smoke. Pedregon ran the strip in 4.2 seconds at 298.4 miles per hour. So let's take a look at the leaderboard as it stands after 4 nationals so far this season. Over in the top fuel division, Tony Schumacher took over the top spot from Antron Brown, leading him now by 14 points.
And speaking of it, there's nobody else in sight in that division.
I didn't look that far down. Okay.
Third place is 130-something points back.
That doesn't surprise me, though. Those two were just... They're...
I was just looking at it today, and I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, those two are at the top, and then there's nobody else.
Below, yeah. Well, we'll see how it proceeds going forward. But those two probably are the 2 premier top fuel runners. Interesting, despite losing the final this past weekend to Pedregon, Courtney Force takes over as the number 1 in the funny car division, 14 points ahead of Johnny Gray. And over in Pro Stock, Alan Johnson. It seems to be going back and forth between Johnson and Mike Edwards so far. Alan Johnson moves back in front of Mike Edwards again. But that one's really close, just a mere 4 points. Okay, so NHRA takes a week off before coming back the weekend of April 19 to the 21st down in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we're going to see the unusual 4-wide racing. And you can bet we'll be bringing you the results after that one. let's go take a look at NASCAR because we had race 6 this past weekend, and that resumed. Vicious half-mile track at Martinsville Speedway, which, despite 12 cautions and 12 different lead changes, we saw Jimmy Johnson win his second race of the season by leading 346 of the 500 laps. Others who came in the top 5 included Clint Boyer came in second. Jeff Gordon always runs well here. Came in third. Casey Kane fourth. Kyle Busch came in fifth for his fourth top 5 finish of the season. And so the leaderboard moved around quite a bit. As we see Jimmy Johnson with his 2 wins this season take over at the number 1 spot.
Yep.
And that moved Brad Keselowski down a spot to number 2, moved Dale Jr. down a spot to number 3. But Kyle Busch joins the top 5 list. I think that's the first time in a long, long time we've seen him on the top 5 board. This is going back even to last season. Makes the top 5 board at the number 4 spot. And Casey Kane jumps in there to the number 5. Casey's been running well with good top 5 and top 10 finishes this season as well.
And the biggest movers of the week are, the biggest losers. Let me start with the biggest losers. Kurt Busch and Martin Truex dropped 6 spots.
Kurt ran well, too, this past week.
Yeah. And then Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon both jumped up 6 spots.
Right.
In the standings.
This was, Clint did really made a move. You're right. All right, so there you have it. That's since we're showing off leaderboards, let's take a look at the Frat House Sports NASCAR fantasy standings. There you go. And while I had a very good team this past weekend for most of the day, and running first most of the time, I've still yet to break the top 10.
Well, let me ask you.
Change for me. Watch.
Did you listen to my advice last week?
I listened. I listened to some of it. I never take.
See, because last week who did I say? My big 3.
I have it written down over there. Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson,
right?
Clint Boyer, and Jeff Gordon. Who finished 1, 2, 3?
Yeah. Well, I had Jimmy. I didn't have Clint, and I didn't have Gordon.
You play to win the game.
Yep. That's how I pulled off that first place. Those were my 3. And Regan Smith.
Well,
I did differ. I picked one other driver that I didn't talk about in the show.
Yeah, well, right. We all do that a little bit.
So,
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's got to change for me this week as we head down to the 1.5 mile Texas Motor Speedway with a rare Saturday evening race. Did you hear me, folks? Saturday evening.
Yep.
Over on Fox at 7:30 p.m. I need some help here. Everything's bigger in Texas, and this week I need a big win. So give me some good advice, Sidekick.
I gave you good advice last week.
Let me write them down so I can ignore them.
Exactly. All right, so this weekend we're going to one of the fastest tracks on the circuit, and it's not even a restrictor placed track.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the amazing thing. Brian Vickers actually has one of the fastest poles at this track, and it's of all the tracks in between the 2 super speedway tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, let's see who we're going to put on our roster.
All right.
This one's not as clear cut as last week was, but so this week we're going to put Matt Kenseth on our roster.
Okay.
5 straight top 5s at Texas. And he won on a similar 1.5 mile track, if you remember, back at Vegas.
Okay, right.
All right. He's expensive, $27.25. We're going to put Greg Biffle up there. Greg Biffle has 2 wins at this track and 7 top 5s. He's also $27.25. We're going to put Kyle Busch in there. He's got 5 top 5s here, and he's, his strong suit is the intermediate track types, and he is $27.25.
Mm-hmm.
So we're spending a lot of money on the top end, so we're going to go with some lower ranked guys. Austin Dillon, who is in that 51 car, Phoenix Racing.
Do we know he's running?
Yes,
okay.
I checked that today. He is on the entry list.
Okay.
and he is at 575.
Okay.
And then, which only leaves us with about 1250. So I'm going with my old standby, Bobby Labonte, at 1075.
Okay. All right, there you have it, folks. Read them and weep. Go for it. Don't forget Saturday night. All right. And if I run with these, I can have my 6 shooters out. Is that the deal on that?
Yep.
Okay, and that'll be acceptable, I guess, to have the 6 shooters.
Well, at the frat house, it'll be acceptable. It might not be acceptable in Connecticut.
All right. Let's go take a look at the world of international football, American style. How about that in Major League Soccer? Sidekick, take it away for us. What do you got?
Major League Soccer. So the leaderboard for this week, we've only got one change in it. That is Sporting KC.
Mm-hmm.
They bumped up. They've got 11 points. They're 3-1-2. Montreal didn't play last week, so they're still sitting at 12 points. We got FC Dallas 4-1-1, 13 points. Chivas didn't play, or I'm sorry, they lost, so they were 3-1-1.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't change their points. And this weekend, my Union, it's a home game against Toronto FC. Right now, the Union is 5th in the division,
Right, they are.
which is the cutoff for the
line.
playoffs.
Right.
The game is Saturday at 4 p.m. And they're 2-2-1, sitting on 7 points.
Real quick, I'm noticing on the leaderboard, some have played 5, some have played 6. Is that because there are games that go on Thursday, Friday, or
And you have
are there weeks off?
Yes, there's weeks off,
Okay.
different things.
How many games are there in a full regulation season?
I want to say 36.
Wow, there's a lot. Okay, so we got a
Yeah,
long way
it
to go.
goes clear. We'll go into
Yeah,
October.
it'll go in November, right?
Yeah,
Actually, October?
Yeah, I think the regular season goes through October.
Okay. Long way to go.
So,
All right.
yep, it's kind of like NASCAR, where it's
yeah,
got
it
that
is.
really
Yeah,
long.
that's right.
But
That's the
it's
long
they
season.
don't play as much as I think there are races. So
Let's go take a look at another long season, and that's Major League Baseball. Okay. Now, starting next week, I will begin bringing you the league standings. I mean, it's still way too early to even start getting into so much speculation. But I thought perhaps maybe what I would do is bring you a few interesting baseball-related stories that occurred this past week. Stories that I thought were, well, let's just put it this way. They're attention-grabbing. All right? Let's kick it off with Terry Francona. Francona began serving his 3rd managerial duty this season with the Cleveland Indians. Now, the other day, it was a really nice day. The other day for the team's home opener. Excuse me. So Francona decided to walk the 2 blocks from where he is currently living this season downtown. Except Francona couldn't find his way there and got lost 3 times. He made it to the park thanks to a fan who gave him a lift in a golf cart. I thought my sense of direction was really bad. I'm a bit dyslexic.
that's
You're 2
almost like the
blocks away.
that's almost like the umpires in D.C. that were late to the game
I'm going to
because
tell you
of
right
traffic.
now, if I'm a member of the team, I'm not feeling very good about the direction of the team, if you know what I'm saying, huh?
Well, they hired Terry Francone. I'd be worried when they announced they hired Terry Francone. I don't know, just saying.
Just let them drink a whole load of beer. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Let's go over and take a look at the Boston Red Sox. They're currently, and I don't have the leaderboard up there, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're leading the AL East with a 5-3 record. But one of the things that they have led for many, many years, 10 years in fact, ended after they fell 6,000 short of a sellout. Last evening, the team announced that the Fenway Park sellout streak had ended at 794 regular season games. And in fact, it was actually more like 820 if you include postseason. And that streak began in May of 2003. That's a long, that's the longest you said, right?
Yes, the
In all
second
of
longest. The second longest was 814,
Right.
set by the Portland Trail Blazers from 77 and 95.
Right. It's a long, long time. That's 10 years. Wow. All right. I don't know. Maybe it's a sign of fan disgruntlement. But I'll tell you right now, we've got fan disgruntlement is full steam.
How disgruntled are they that their team's leading?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
they're
but
off
I
to
think
a hot start.
I think a lot of it's a hangover from the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think, after the past 2 seasons, that fan base is probably sitting there going, let's just take a wait and see attitude. We'll see where this is going. All right. But make no mistake, fan disgruntlement is already full steam ahead in numerous towns this early in the season. And we'll start it off down in Miami, where those fans, in my opinion, have every right to be disgruntled. A couple of fans, including 25-year-old Dan Barton, were amongst a handful of fans who showed up at the Marlins home opener the other day. Except he showed up with a number of his buddies with signs reading Free the Marlins and wearing T-shirts reading F Jeff and Marlins baseball, helping other teams get better since 1998. Problem was, these creative, free-speaking fans never got a chance to see the game. In fact, they never even got a chance to see their seats as they were greeted by uniformed police officers who escorted them out of the ballpark. Barton and his friends just happened to be the coordinators of a fan movement called Rage Against the Marlins, where they have a web presence, Facebook page, Twitter handle, and they even have a petition up on whitehouse.gov to remove Jeffrey Loria as the owner of the Marlins. I say good for them. And it just so happens I've arranged to have Dan Barton on our Fan Junkies radio program tomorrow. So you're going to want to tune into that to hear what the philosophy of that particular group might be. I can't wait to chat with them. Talking about fan disgruntlement, how about this one? Someone, and on this one, it's remaining anonymous. Not very pleased with the Chicago Cubs. Now, many believe that the Cubs have been plagued by the curse of the Billy Goat since 1945. Now, I'd say that I suppose that's a possibility, but more likely it's just a lot of bad management. But not so much that it, there's still, nonetheless, Wrigley Field is packed all the time. So, there's not much incentive for the ownership there to do anything really to change it when you're getting massive fans pulling into the ballpark all the time. Well, out of a scene from The Godfather, someone sent Cubs owner Tom Ricketts a message, right to Gate K of Wrigley Field. Police today have been investigating a suspicious package addressed to Ricketts that was dropped off containing a goat's head. Well, at least it
nice.
At least it wasn't a dead fish wrapped in a bulletproof vest. That's all I can say. Woo! Fans are getting creative out there. You got to give them a. I guess you give them a hand for that one. All right, that's a few of the stories that I found attention-grabbing going on over in Major League Baseball. Let's go take a look at Pro Round Ball, huh? 4 games. We just got 4 games remaining in the NBA at this point.
Yep, that's
in
the week to go.
Season. By next week at this time, we're probably going to have a pretty good idea of what the playoff matches might be. In the Atlantic Division, the New York Knicks continue to lead that one 5.5 games in front of Brooklyn Nets. On a streak right now of 13-0. They haven't lost a game in 13. Central Division, Indiana Pacers, still there. 6.5 games in front of the Chicago Bulls. In the Southeast, you've got the Miami Heat. Anybody expecting anything different? 19.5 games in front of the Atlanta Hawks. In the Northwest, you've got the Oklahoma City Thunder. 3 games. Now just 3 games in front of the Denver Nuggets. Pacific Division, the LA Clippers. 7 games in front of the Golden State Warriors. And in the Southwest, you've got the San Antonio Spurs. 4 games in front of the Memphis Grizzlies. They have faltered just a bit in the past few days. But Memphis can't seem to catch up any ground on them.
Yeah, and actually, just to update from what we were kind of talking about last week, you know, in the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee's in, Philly's out.
Right.
That conference is all set up now. You've got your 8 people locked. But in the West, Utah's still alive. The Lakers are still alive. Houston's still alive. Dallas is out now, and Portland's out.
Right. And in fact, let me run them down real quick. I'll run them down so that everybody's aware. Everybody that you just heard right now that we ran down who are the division leaders, they would automatically be into the playoffs. Who would be the others? In the East, you've got the Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Hawks, Boston Celtics, and Milwaukee Bucks. Those are your 5, plus the other 3 in the East. In the West, Denver Nuggets, Memphis Grizzlies, Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets, and the LA Lakers hold on to that 8th spot. So, 4 games remaining. I don't frankly think you're going to see much change. I think it's going to be that way. And amazingly, considering how the Lakers started out this season, I actually think they're probably going to hold on to that 8th spot and get into the playoffs.
Which is actually a surprise considering how they started the season.
Exactly. Okay, let's go take a look at the pros and cons.
You do that.
3 division changes this past week in the NHL, with just 8 games remaining in the season. Thereabouts. Some teams have maybe 1 more, some have 1 less. Let's take a look at those divisions. No change in the Atlantic Division. Pittsburgh Penguins, 16 points ahead of, not the Rangers, now the New York Islanders. In the Northeast, this is where it's been a back and forth, going between Boston and Montreal. Boston's now back on top, 1 point ahead of the Montreal Canadiens. In the Southeast, Washington Capitals now, 2 points ahead of the Winnipeg Jets. Central Division, it's been all Chicago, all season long. Chicago, 18 points ahead. They're the Miami Heat of the NHL. 18 points ahead of the Detroit Red Wings. Northwest, Vancouver goes back on top there. They are 6 points, amazingly, 6 points ahead of Minnesota. Wow, Minnesota really stumbled this week. Talk about a team stumbling. And Pacific Division, the Anaheim Ducks 11 points ahead of the Kings. And so let's take a look at that playoff picture. All of the teams in the East that I just mentioned get in. All of them in the West get in. Who would be the others? In the East, you've got the Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa Senators, New York Islanders, and the New York Rangers. In the West, playoff bound would be the Kings, LA Kings, San Jose Sharks, St. Louis Blues, Minnesota Wild, and the Detroit Red Wings. Ready to talk?
Sure.
Let's go do our shout-outs. Let's go do our shout-outs for this week. That's our show. Make sure you get over and join up with Fan Junkies. We've only been telling you for how long?
84
months.
episodes.
Yeah.
Just about 84 episodes.
84 episodes. Right, we've been telling you. Get over there. FanJunkies.net. Sign up. Social media, okay? Social networking. It's where sports meets social networking. Get over there. Join up completely free, all right? When you do, get over there. Hey, you'll bump into Sidekick and I. And if you like, friend us. If you don't like us, don't friend us. But no, get over there and join that, will you?
Just don't ask me to talk about hockey.
Not this year anyhow, not this season, not until it's over. Fan Junkies Radio, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Jonathan and I. Terrific shows. I just said tomorrow we're going to have on this Dan Barton from Miami and the Rage Against the Marlins. This is the kind of thing that we do all the time.
And you've got the 100th episode coming up.
We have our 100th episode coming up at the beginning of May. That'll be a 2-hour episode, and we've got all kinds of guests. I mean, multiple guests are being lined up for that one as we speak. But next Wednesday, we've got the captain of the women's Olympic ice hockey team coming on with us. So that'll be an interesting show as well next Wednesday. But Fan Junkies Radio over on Blog Talk Radio, check that out. And our show, right here, this one, also rebroadcast for myself on Saturdays at 1. All right, for Frat House Saturdays. HerbFM.com. Got a schedule?
Yep. No, I didn't.
I know they're there. Every week they have been very,
Friday
very
night.
loyal, and they rebroadcast us.
Yep. I didn't. I should have looked before the
That's
show.
all right.
But
HerbFM.com. Get over there. Check them out. And they have their schedule posted up there. You will see our program. And they usually broadcast this every week for about an hour. Our buddies over at CLW83.com.
Yep.
They rebroadcast all of the Fan Junkies productions. All of them. Which is Fan Junkies Radio, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's Wrestle Chat on Tuesdays. Sports Blogger from Thursdays. It's Frat House Saturday. All of those. They're rebroadcasting all of those. That's our buddy Jim Williams and Carl over there at CLW 83. I'll be making a special appearance, too, on Jim's podcast on Monday. On the, what is it called? The Touch 'em All Baseball, which will be broadcast over on CLW 83. So that'll be coming up on Monday. And then last but not least, Frat House Sports. We got a preview up there right now for the Masters for this week. The Masters preview is up there. So, if by chance you get, torn and you get sucked into it, and you want to watch that a little bit on Sunday, go read that and you catch up on Who's Who. All right, there you go.
yeah, I might train Sunday.
That's our.
Let's go have a ham sandwich.
That's our program for this week. Right, you know what you got to do. You got to keep us real. You got to keep us live, and you got to keep us going. We'll see you next week.
Last year we played the #1 RPI schedule in the nation, and this year we played a top 5 schedule. And I don't think we could face a basketball team any better than Wichita State. They are great. Something different has happened to me this year than ever happened before. In the tournament, I went against 3 coaches. After watching 10 to 12 films, I just thought they were tremendous, and I've never really coached against them. Just awesome coaches. And it's tough for Wichita State to lose this game tonight because they played great. We had to dig in. Russ still had a good night, but Russ is our best free throw shooter. But 4 of our starters had their worst night of the season. And we had to win this game with our second unit of Stephen Van Treese, our walk-on Tim Henderson, one of the best 6 men in all of basketball, Luke Hancock, and Montrezl Harrell. So there's a reason our starters played poorly. It's because Wichita State is that good. So we're really, really happy to be playing in the final game.